First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and supporting us, because I know that it took a lot for us to put ourselves out there, and first of all, to do that. And then to second of all, harness ourselves and be able to get this done and do the research that we did to come up with the data and the things that we have to do. And it just took a lot, and I want to thank you guys for coming here and supporting us. I'd like to thank Dr. Burgess for his help and for his guidance and direction in my project. And if he could stand up now, that would be great. For giving me the resources to achieve what I did with this research, and so clap for them too. And I'd like to thank my family, especially my mom, for pretending to listen and seem interested in what I was hearing about my research every day when I would come home from school after being with elementary kids all day.
Mom deserves
I decided to do research done previously with kids and stress because of my chosen career path to become a pediatrician. My experiment uses a basic stress test using a puzzle appropriate for the kids' age and their grade. I also used a 1-minute time restraint with the children used as the stress. I tested the kids in a computer lab that was provided by the Canoe Elementary in the school. The computer elementary teacher let me borrow her room for a few days, so I'd like to thank her too, but she's not. What I would do is I would walk the kids across the hallway or down the hall, depending on where their classroom was in the building, and I would brief them for approximately 30 seconds, giving them time for their heart rate to drop, from the walk. And I would tell them what would be going on, what equipment we would be using, how they were going to be using it. Like in this picture here, me and my buddy Carson from 2nd grade, he was like, well, what do these do? And first they were cold, and then they warmed up in his hands, and he was concerned about that for some reason. And in that 30 seconds, I would tell them that they weren't in any kind of trouble like they all thought that they were in. And I then proceeded to take their initial heart rate, which is shown here in blue on my graph. And I then proceeded to give them an untimed puzzle. I would tell them they had as much time as they needed to complete the puzzle that was in front of them. And what I did this for was as a control, so that they would become familiar with the equipment that they were using, and so that they were able to see the puzzle and become more comfortable with me in the room. Sorry. I did another heart rate, and that's not shown here on my graph, but that again was just so that they could become familiar with the equipment. I then proceeded to tell them that they had 1 minute, which I had on my phone. I had a timer on my phone. I told them that they had 1 minute. After I torn the puzzle back apart, I told them they had 1 minute to complete the puzzle as quick as they could before the timer went off. And if they didn't complete it, they weren't in any kind of trouble. It wasn't bad. I was just doing it to see how fast they could get it done. And the reason I chose the 2nd grade graph up here was because the 2nd grade has the most consistent work. And what I mean by consistent is, with previous research done, it's shown that the heart rate, the final heart rate, is higher than the initial heart rate, because the time situation, the time stress that they were under, actually increased their heart rate and their other vital signs. Starting next year as 3rd graders, these students will be tested every year until they graduate, which are their EOIs, starting in the 3rd grade. And the reason it's so concerning now in the research, the reason that this research is being done is because if students as 2nd graders are showing signs of stress because they're completing a puzzle in 1 minute, it's kind of concerning to doctors and to parents alike, because these are their students showing signs of stress in the 2nd grade. Other signs of stress could also be when they were wiggling in their chairs or stomping their foot, and other more serious symptoms that doctors and parents can pick up is them complaining about wanting to go to school, worrying about school, complaining of stomach aches and headaches even after the doctor's given them a clean bill of health. There's even been talk that younger grades, such as pre-K and kindergarten, are having to are being tested for concepts that they know before they can even go on to an advance to like 1st grade. So So concepts such as knowing their letters, their numbers, their colors, just anything like that could potentially hold a child back in pre-K because they didn't know those things. But that's it for me. So if anyone has any further questions, I'll be in the cafeteria after this. So I just thank you guys for listening and thanks for coming out.
Okay, and I just want you to know her name again. These students are doing such a fabulous job. This is Ashlyn Franklin, and she is from Trinity High School. Good job.